Hey, have you ever heard of the runner's high? Like, runners often talk about, oh, the high, they feel like you can do anything. Well, there's a thing that they don't talk about, which I'm going through right now, which is called the runner's low. Wow. Let's get into it. I'm currently going through what I think should be called the runner's low. I've never heard anyone talk about it, but as I think through my journey, just recently and actually what I'm going through right now, and I think back like 14 years ago when I had run before, I think of those periods and what made me stop. I think there's something called the runner's low, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I'm chat about my experiences and maybe you can identify with some of that. Maybe you've got some advice for me about what I can do to get out of this slump of runner's low. Yeah, so 14 years ago, I was running half marathons. And I had a really good year. And then the next year, just everything just slumped. I just never ever felt good. I could never get into a rhythm. Things that were easy were suddenly incredibly hard. Runs that used to excite me just didn't have any good flavor any longer. And eventually, people that I had gotten into running were faster than me, were beating me, and were just all out, better and enjoying the running far more than what I was. And that just demotivated me. Eventually, life happened, as we say, and my running journey kind of slowed, and then I got gout attacks, and that just got worse, and I eventually just stopped running completely. I would every year try and pick it up again and sort of, start the journey, but that just led to constantly either getting another gout attack or being in pain or whatever it was, like not making the distance or needing to be at work at very early hours in the morning till very late at night. And so there was no time for running, all those things. Um, so yeah, but what's happening at the moment is quite tough for me, and it's hard to understand because with all the motivation that I'm trying to share, I'm also trying to share, the struggles. I'm in the struggle at the moment, so I don't have like a 3-point plan of how to deal with the runner's low. I'm going through it. So here's just my experience at the moment. Yeah, it's okay. So if we just take a quick look at my journey in Feb, we'll see in Feb I ran 99 kilometers in 9 activities. Should be 8. So it was on the 24th of Feb. That was one run, but for some whatever happened here, it split it. I don't even know how that's possible. But you can see I ran 99 kilometers. If we look at Jan, I had 9 activities, but I ran 132 kilometers. So far more running. Jan just felt good. Like I was just on the road. You can see a lot of 21 kilometers, just days after each other, a couple of 10s, 20 kilometers there. Just, feeling really good. And then I had a minor injury at the beginning of Feb. That's why I had the break. And then sort of starting to pick it up again. But just every run that I took in that period just felt like a slog. Like, I was trying to explain this to my wife and share with her just through what I'm going through. I say, like, I don't feel enthusiastic about going for a run. And when I'm on the run, like, I feel like my mindset is all wrong. It's like, it's all like, oh no, oh, there's a niggle here, there's a niggle there. Like, it's making it bigger than it actually, like a bigger deal than it actually is. And just not finding like a happy place. Like, oh, I don't want to go run early morning. Like, I had a couple of early morning runs planned, but I've done none of them. I get up, I sort of look out the window, and then just decide to go back to bed because whatever my life responsibilities and family responsibilities is going to be there at 7 o'clock. I don't want to be in pain. And so almost preempting the pain, even though I'm quite used to the pain is not that painful. There's more stiffness than it is pain. So I'm quite used to it, but I'm making it much more of a big deal than it needs to be and not going out for runs early morning, which is another psychological thing that I think I'm tackling with. and then just sort of getting into the wrong headspace. Like, yeah, I'm dealing with that, and I'm also dealing with. I picked up a couple of injuries. I'm like, oh no, what's this now? Why is these injuries and these run distances aren't great? And I'm striving to be an ultra runner, and an ultra runner is anyone that runs more than 42.2 kilometers. I think if you run 42.3, you technically an ultra runner. I don't know the definition, but for me, I would put myself in that bracket once around 50 kilometers. And that's my goal, is to run 50 kilometers. I've struggled to get above or to get to 25 kilometers in the last few months. I just haven't had the motivation. I've the attempts that I have made have fallen flat. I was been in so much pain. I can show you an example in my stats here where in December, you can see here on the 24th of December, sorry, the 8th of December, I ran 24 kilometers, 24.5. I did it in a time of 3 hours, 10 minutes. And then on the 21st of December, I ran 26 kilometers in a time of 4 hours, 24 minutes. So, that is, is incredible how much longer that took me to run an extra 2 kilometers, not even 2 kilometers. That's an hour and 14 minutes longer just to run another 2 kilometers. So this load that I'm going through, like, I think it's pretty real. And, and to share why I think we go through these running lows. Right. So number one is surrounding. I'm running the same routes. I'm just at home. So I'm just running my local routes. And it's pretty hot. It's very humid. And so going for these runs, I'm extremely humid, extremely sweaty, and just uncomfortable. And so I think that's playing quite a big role. I'm running the same routes mainly, and the idea of it doesn't really excite me anymore because it's not a new challenge, It's like, lifting the same weights all the time. Like, eventually it bores you. Right? And I run a circle, I run a loop, which gives me about a 21 kilometer distance. So I do that twice. So running it the third time to get like to 30 kilometers just doesn't excite me at all. Like, I just can't do it again, So that's one of the things I think is playing into my runner low period that I'm going through. The injuries, I think the injuries also is playing a role in thinking like, oh no, I don't, when I'm on a run and I start to feel a bit of muscle pain, I'm like, okay, instead of building the psychological and mental resistance to work through that pain, I'm sort of submitting to it and going, I don't want to be in so much pain. I'm getting lazy about the pain instead of knowing that the pain is a threshold that you burst through, that you just work through it. I've done this before. And so I'm just being a crybaby. I need to stop it. But those are just the experiences that I'm going through at the moment. It makes me feel like I'm at such a low. But if I do put on some positivity, let me just get some positivity that I can share with you, that like hopefully you can take something away from this other than feeling a bit more miserable and morbid and go like, oh, this bloody, why do I watch this crybaby? So just take a Jan run here and look at a 20-kilometer run. So I did this 20-kilometer run in Jan, which was one of my last runs in Jan. And my average pace there was 7 minutes, 34 seconds. And if I look at my most recent longer run on the 23rd of February, which is a 17.9, so call it 18-kilometer run, that time was 6 minutes, 58 seconds. So I'm getting faster. I'm going to have a bit more pain because I'm stretching my muscles a bit more. So I'm moaning and complaining because I'm making progress. I mean, come on, Richard, like, get real. Like, I'm moaning and complaining because I'm actually making progress. If I look at the run before that, which was 21 kilometers, my pace was 7 minutes 16. And that run, I was not in a good mood. So the whole point is that I am making progress. I am even though I might not feel it, like when I look at the stats, like it is there. I'm making progress. I'm getting faster, and so that comes with a bit more pain. It comes with a little bit more fatigue. I also realized I wasn't eating enough, and maybe that had something to do with my mood. I was still eating the same sort of meal that I was when I was running 10 kilometer as my training run. But now I'm doing 21 kilometers as my training run, my sort of run around the neighborhood, and I'm still eating the same amount of food. So my body is starving. It's literally starving. I need to feed it. So I'm starting to eat a little bit more. And in that way, I actually have felt a little bit better. And I've had some cake. Cake always helps. So those are the things. And then also now what I am starting to do is starting to focus on the journey of to get to run 50 kilometers. You don't get there by whining about a little bit of pain at 20 kilometers. You have to work through it. And so I have to tell myself that I have to really remind myself of the thread of time that it doesn't just happen overnight, and sure, I pushed myself to get to a marathon distance in a pretty short period of time, but there was a lot of sacrifices that happened there. There was lots of pain to deal with, and so now I have to deal with the pain. I was also experimenting with a lot of supplements, like what different supplements can I take to manage the pain, to give myself a little bit more pain-free run. So those kind of things I was also doing, which I'm doing none of now. I'm not using Rehydrate. I'm not using Slow Mag for any of those things. I'm not using any of those things at the moment. I'm just literally going out for runs. I'm not even having a Panado when I'm in a lot of achy pain in the evening so I can get better sleep. I'm not even doing that. I'm simply just taking water. I'm just drinking lots of water. I'm trying to eat more. And, I'm able to do a 21 kilometer run in the evening on one day, and then the next evening, I can run a 10 kilometer and I'm fine. So I need to learn to also listen to that and go, it's not all bad, man. There are lots of good things and you're doing amazing, and I just stick with it. And so that's the message I want to share with you, is that if you feel like you're in this run is low, like keep going. Keep running. Like look back at your progress. Look at your stats. Like maybe there are some good things that's coming out of your stats that you're just not aware of. I generally don't look at my pace because I'm not interested in running faster. But there it was, staring me in the face. I am getting faster just because I'm fitter. And I'm also more psychologically, like more moaning about the run while preparing to go for the run, and then again while on the run. Whereas I'm actually fine. I'm fine for most of the run. I come back, I'm fine. A little bit of stiffness, and then I eat and whatever, and the next day I can go for another run. That's amazing. So I don't know why I'm going through this run as low, but I thought that I'd just share that with you, and then maybe if you're going through a low, that try and look at your achievements. Try and look back at your achievements before you tap out, before you stop running and think that it's hopeless. Try and find other places to run. I've also incorporated other things. So I don't just run. I also cycle a bit now, which has been a load of fun, especially going downhill. Uphills, but downhills are great. I bought a inflatable kayak. So I've been kayaking and going to sort of rivers and wherever I can to do a bit of kayaking, and that's been a lot of fun as well. So having just multiple things of interest. So the running is still my core. I still really actually enjoy it. I get a lot of good byproducts from running, but I'm just going through a little bit of a low patch, and I'm sure I'll get through this. And then next week I'll have an amazing story for you. What is exciting me is that this weekend we're off to the Drakensberg. So we're going to be staying deep in the mountains, and I'm going to go for a few runs and get some banger footage for you. And maybe there'll be a story or two to share as well along the journey of going out there and just reinvigorating myself. I actually have this crazy idea of running up the Sanye Pass, but that's for later in the year, not now. Anyway, cool. I hope you found this useful. If this is the first time watching my videos, my name is Richard. I'm an adventure filmmaker, and I focus on running and helping you get off the couch and get out there and do something for you, because you don't have to be the best You don't have to be the fittest. You don't have to be the strongest. To find something that just gives you pure joy. It's just movement in your body. If you found this video useful or enjoyed a little bit of my quirks, I'd appreciate it if you'd like the video. And if you want to hear more from me, subscribing to my channel do the world of great for me, just to, motivate me along my runs. Say, wow, I got a new subscriber today. So if you'd be so kind to do that, it'll be great. But anyway, I'm just glad you're here and you're watching to the end. My name is Richard, and this has been Richard Talks.